Good morning. Good morning. Michael, put your bag up, right, put your stuff up. And Cameron, have that put up. Samira, why are you out of uniform? Go fix that. Or are you one of the kids who got a million? Alright, come on, let's go. Let's not be gawkers. You gotta, Camille. I don't know what this is or who this is. I don't need that over here.
No, orange. No, my face is okay.
Alright, let's go.
Here, it's my
These are not allowed in class. Go be respectful, put it up. Joseph, how you gonna be in my class when I got nothing? Joseph, where your notebook at?
I left everything at the house. I left my book at the crib. I had everything in there, bro. Let it shut out.
Oh, yeah.
He came down for me. He saw me walk in. I saw him.
Stop being charged. Now.
Alright, so you definitely need to take a look at the board, look at your standards, think about what our do now is when the bell rings, I start.
No. I can't pull it first. You smell as easy. Come on. It's your first day. Come to the one. I'm not coming to rock. You just throw you out your seat. That was you, bitch. I'm not Jameer. Wait.
Smack that nigga, bro.
Right. Alright, so. Alright, let's go ahead and look on the board for our do now. So, on the board it says in pairs of two. That means if it's one of you, you need to sit with somebody. You are going to have a 3 to 5 minute discussion about morals, values, ethics, and how they shape people's work ethic. So let's go ahead and start with 3 minutes. Again, if you are not sitting with somebody, you need to sit with them. Right? Because how else are you going to have a discussion? Other than that, write a paragraph explaining it. So for those that sitting by themselves and not sitting with nobody, you need to write a paragraph explaining this. Right? Because you choose not to sit with nobody and talk, that's fine. Right. I just said sit in pairs. That means in pairs of two. 2 people. If it ain't 2 people, then no. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not my concern no more.
I'm having we get a 2
That gotta go out.
Can I just
Don't open the door no more. That's why it's don't open the door. 6'2". Don't mess up my posters over there. Tiandre and Xavier, y'all conversation don't sound like you're talking about morals, values, or ethics.
Wait, nigga, get back in that seat.
They was all put in 2, with the exception of them 3. But y'all go ahead, keep going, make groups of 2. Antonio.
You shut up. Okay, so just like how they feel like time in a relationship, it's necessary by slowing it down.
Aaliyah, you're supposed to be sitting with another person. You got Christina and Mariah.
I'm with Aaliyah.
Oh, come on. So Mariah, you find somewhere to fit in at, right? Or you choosing to write it? Oh, okay. Y'all should get to talking.
This is not the topic.
Don't worry about it.
Christina, what is you talking about?
What?
You're not even on the topic. I mean, you did homeless people.
Nigga, that's how much a doctor can come like that. Nigga saying that he goes strong, nigga like a nigga don't like this, nigga that goes. I told nigga that nigga was jerk because we
Right now, that's what y'all working
What is
on.
morals?
No. You gotta put my desk back. Thank you. You are in groups of 2, and you're having a 3 to 5 minute discussion about morals, values, and ethics. So you need to go sit and talk with
Like, based off of this one.
Ron Cameron. Thank you.
And they shape their textual structure based on their personal preferences.
Alright, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. Right, we got 2 more minutes. So continue your brief conversation. Thank you. Yes, sir. Alright, well, here. You and him can pass these out. There you go. Everybody get 1 copy of that. Everybody gets 1 copy of this. Thank you.
Can you stop?
Joseph, how is that conducive to morals, values, or ethics? Oh, okay. Well, I would appreciate it if you redirect yourself and get back on task for the next minute and 18 seconds. All right, y'all get 1 more minute and then we are moving on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When you done, you put it over to the other thing. Did you get the other copy? You got both of them? Alright, let's listen up and redirect. Alright, in your notebook, you may want to write down our standards for the next 5 days, right? Because we are going to work on this for about 5 days, and then we're definitely switching on to something else. So, students will be able to analyze the details of the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme and prepare a court case based on the legal implications and ethical considerations involved. The reason you are writing this down, again, we are preparing for a court case. Your attendance determines your participation for the court case. So if you're one of those people who like, oh, I want to be a judge, but you ain't never at school, you can't be a judge because we cannot have a judge who don't show up to work, right? We can't have a lawyer or a prosecutor who never comes. It'll be random. You'll learn on Friday because you got to prepare for your court case come Monday. Oh, it's gonna be random. You're gonna stick your hand in there and pull out your roll. Where's your pad? I heard you. Write it. Alright, let's quiet down. Let's quiet down and write this down. It don't take that long to write down a sentence. Damari, come on, let's get on task. No, you just write down this part. Students will be able to analyze the details of the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme and prepare a court case based on the legal implications and ethical considerations. And the reason you're writing this down, again, one, this tells you 3 or 4 things that we're working on. One, you know that you're about to learn about Bernie Madoff. You're going to learn about the Ponzi scheme. You're also going to prepare a court case, right? So that's 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things right there that you will be learning in the next 5, actually the next 3 or 4 days for our court case. Then you got to remember, our court case is going to be based off of legal implications, right? So our vocabulary is going to be heavy, right? We don't get to stop and say, oh, I don't know what that word means. That means you have to get ready to prepare for this. You have to be able to tell me the difference between a trader, investor, and a broker. You got to be able to defend this client or prosecute this client. For those that will end up on the jury, you have to be able to come to a decision together to say if this man is guilty or not as a jury, right? That means even though it's usually majority rules, the jury all has to agree. One person don't agree and you are stuck, right? Next, ethical considerations, which is why your do now was talking about morals, values, ethics, right? How do those things shape people? How do that shape how people work, right? You all are old enough to know the difference between right and wrong. But based on your friends, you can determine whether you can tell if your friends have morals. You can tell. You can tell if they know the difference between right or wrong, right? Because if your friend is a scammer and they feel comfortable stealing, then that lets us know that you're comfortable being actually a scammer and a thief, or slightly simulated, slightly different, or whatever, right? So hold on for 1 moment. Let's finish writing. Hello. Pretty good. How you doing?
You was strong back then.
Hey, you know, we're 16. Check today. I mean,
Okay. That's fine.
I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. It's in there now. All right, let's go ahead and look at the smart board so we can get ready to take notes and watch this video. I'm sorry, you said who? Oh yeah, he can. Ask her or tell her that your hair hurts and ask her who possibly goes to the hospital. Lay down, okay? You heard me? I'll come and get you on my lunch. Okay? All right.
Good order, like
Do you have guns in LA?
good order, like
You can have guns in LA.
What? What you talking about, gang?
That's it. Gate knob.
Alright, so again, you're watching this video for the first time so that you can get basic information about, yes ma'am, the pass is over there. Alright, so that you can get basic information, right? Because again, we are going to prepare a court case. So there's some basic facts that you need, right? So we will watch this video again, and at every so often you will be taking notes on this. Because again, you don't know if you're going to be the prosecutor, you don't know if you're going to be the lawyer, you don't know if you are going to be Bernie Madoff himself, you don't know what your position in court is. So as long as you stay prepared, you'll be prepared to defend, argue, and persuade the jury, right? And again, a jury is comprised of people that are your so-called peers, right? Yeah, I say so-called because when you turn 18, your peers are adults. So your peers become 18 to 90 or whoever the oldest person alive is, right? Those are peers. And you don't want to get judged by a person that's 80-some years old. And they ain't cutting slack. Yes, sir. Somebody's out right now. For this particular group right here, right, I just think I need to let you know, actually for the whole class, right? One, this class is being recorded, per usual. So, right here on this camera, when I go back and look at my footage, do know that when your parent gets ready to ask me, what are you doing in class? I'm going to use these videos. Okay. So, and the microphone is also picking up with the session. Oh, because they're not talking in this video, so it's supposed to give you suspense. Alright, how do you make yearly payments? Yet with another investor. Alright. Woo. So again, as you're watching this video, think about it. What do you want to be in this court case, right? Because everybody's job has different job titles and got different things to do. That means not only are you doing something, but you gotta describe this to us.
Look at him, take this somebody. He ain't gonna get his ass beat. He get back on try to fight his ass off. I ain't gonna lie, these supposed to be dumb. See that nigga take them and put them on. See that?
Y'all conversations are loud, so I think we're ready to jump into the notes. All right, first things first, in your notes at the top of your page, you may want to write down Bernie Madoff. You might want to write down what we have in our standard Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, right? Because you know basic information about the man himself, Bernie Madoff, right? Who was convicted and sentenced to 150 years in federal prison for scamming $50 billion across the world. His name is on the board. Well, I would suggest move closer, or you can ask your partner how to spell that, right? So again, who are we specifically talking about? Bernie Madoff, right? And again, it's big because one, he's one of few in the 21st century who have been caught. And when I say few, I mean few. Because I don't think they caught the man that sold the airport. He sold the whole airport and don't even own it, okay? Exactly. Exactly. How do you sell an airport that's not yours? Right? How do you target or get people to give you money?
Something that's not your property.
Well, in Bernie Madoff's case, he was actually returning on the money. That's the real question, but the money ain't found. So it's like, what was you really trading? Right? Because where's the 50 billion? Because these people ain't killed themselves just to kill themselves.
They killed themselves?
That's why it's big. Oh, baby. Stock market crash, and we got a lot. So we got Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, right? So a couple of things we know about Bernie Madoff. One, the crime took place in New York, right? We do know that. So we have a physical location. In the video, it said the Lipstick Building. So the Lipstick Building is now infamous, right? So you need to know Lipstick Building, right? In the video, they did not tell you on the 17th and the 19th floor, but because of our discoveries that we will make at some point, we will learn the importance of the 17th and 19th floor. And if you do not know what the Lipstick Building is, the Lipstick Building is like the Renaissance Building of New York, right? It's a building, you have a bunch of businesses, office space for different types of clients, right? So while it was called the Lipstick Building, our sir here, Bernie Madoff, only had 2 floors. And he didn't start off with 2 floors always, right? He had the 19th floor, and he also had the 17th floor, right? So those are important. Now we're going to get ready to say, watch our video again, and we're going to take detailed notes. So we're not going to be able to spend 3 minutes waiting for you to paraphrase a sentence, right? So, basic information about Bernie Madoff. Again, you don't know if you're going to be the prosecutor or his defending attorney, right? So either way, it's important to say when you're investigating, when you are analyzing, right? Not sure how many crime shows you watch, but how many times are they going through trying to find motive, right? When are they sitting there trying to determine who did what and where they did these things, right? You need to know who, what, when, where, why in order to convict them. What are y'all two talking about that's so much more important than taking notes and listening? That was not a rhetorical question. That was literal. The pass is out. Oh, I'm waiting for an answer.
You said what?
Oh, no, I was talking to the people that was talking while I was talking because their conversation was so much more important and they have their notes. They must be able to tell us something about what we're talking about. Because to be talking while we're giving instruction is really audacious. And then gonna come and tell me I need help. How am I supposed to help you when you don't listen? I'm just saying. Alright, so we got Bernard Madoff, his full name. It ain't Bernie if you thought it was just Bernie. Alright. What is he known for? Making 50 billion disappear. It is. But again, this is when you have checks and balances. Right? So we know we got Bernard Madoff, right? He's also Jewish, right? His parents were immigrants. They came here from Poland.
You said 50.
Yes, 50 billion. That's what BN. BN is short for billion. MN is short for million. K is short for thousand. I'm pretty sure they taught y'all that in school somewhere when they talk about money. No idea. Math is not my forte. And unfortunately, if you suck at math, guess what's one thing? You might not be the lawyer on the case. Right? Because guess what? If I tell you that if you have to explain as a lawyer how he was able to say take $1 million and tell somebody they were going to get a 10% profit. So if I give you $1 million and you tell me every year you're going to give me a 10% profit, that means as a lawyer you need to explain that to us, right? Because the jury has an education level from elementary to college. And they're all adults, or in this case, they're all your peers. So not everybody understands math. That means you got to explain it in ways for the person who don't know anything about percentages or money for them to understand. And again, you're just paraphrasing this. Bernard Madoff, 50 BN, investor worldwide. Disappeared. All right, moving on. And again, we're not writing every single thing that they're going to have on here. So there'll be parts that I will not stop and pause at. All right, I already told y'all about the lipstick building. You should have that in your notes, so I'm not pausing there. All right, background information about him. Far Rockaway, Queens, 1960. I'll pause so you can read and write, right? And it don't take us that long, right? Where did it start? Far Rockaway, Queens, 1960 as a lifeguard. He earned $5,000, and that's what he used to trade, right? $5,000 back then is equivalent to $35,000 a couple years ago, right? And this is where the social studies of life comes in, and economics, understanding inflation, the Wall Street. Well, Wall Street really ain't part of economics, but understanding that there is no such thing as free lunch, and there is no such thing as free lunch because somebody got to pay for it. Just because it ain't you don't mean somebody ain't. Okay? First things first, get what you need for class, notebook, and leave your book back outside. You'll get a locker from your first hour. Go ahead. All right. So we all got this down. Far Rockaway, Queens, 1960 as a lifeguard with $5,000. All right, we can move on. Right? So he made $5,000 where he started trading stocks. I just told you that information, so you should have wrote it down. All right. He traveled to Miami Beach to make a little bit more money to attract richer clients. So we know he traveled. I'm pausing right there. So you need to include in his travels, right, because this is background information about him. He went to Palm Beach. He went to Miami. Why? So that he can attract richer clients, right? Because he got to go where the rich people at. Because how else am I supposed to get more money if I do not have anything? It's paper over there. What's your name?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Here you go. That's the readings. All right, for those that already wrote that down, pink sheets, right? Now, this is a very brief, short video. Pink sheets. This will be important for your investigation, right? Because again, he started his career in the 1960s. That's before computers. That's before internet. That means he had to write information down and call people and pay those flights. They was doing a lot of work back then. They the reason we got all these rules now. Stop here. Wow, listen. Here they say, make America great again. Yes, make thievery accessible again so that y'all can process people again. All right, so pink sheets. That'll be something you'll definitely have to probably teach yourself, right? Pink sheets, because I'm not about to, right? Again, we're analyzing and preparing. So to prepare for your court case, you need to know that the pink sheets are important to how he ran his business, especially considering the fact that he used this even after he incorporated technology into his building, right? Because how else did he avoid a paper trail for so long, right? So hopefully y'all have pink sheets on there. Madoff's new business dealt with the National Quotation Bureau, and that is how he got to those pink sheets, right? When he started, he didn't start off with the business, right? He started out as a trader and then had his business idea and had somebody invest in that business. Well, he was kind of working behind closed doors, but anyway. All right, moving on. Now, those pink sheets were not the Wall Street. This is background information. If you don't know about the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, you got to read up on that. All right. He invested money. That's a small tidbit you need to know. Okay, let's just go back and push play. All right. He invested money in stock. So remember in the beginning where we said he traded? Now, he's investing money in stocks, right? So you can see how he went from a trader to an investor, right? So that's why I say those vocabulary words come in handy at. Because now you need to know the difference between an investor and a trader. What's the difference between the two, right? As soon as I figure out my life.
What?
Hey, he playing with you, right?
All right, so we done with that part. Profits. All right, don't know if you know anything about profits, but when the stock price increased, he made a profit. That's how it works on Wall Street, right? When you trade a stock or invest in a stock or buy shares in a stock, when it goes up, when that stock price increases, you make money, right? So if the stock price for Nike, let's say 500. Better yet, let's bring it. Jordans cost roughly $220. The stock price for Nike is about $300. All right. So let's say Nike is maybe $300, right? Now let's say the Nike stock price is the same amount, the same price of Jordans, right? Now, when Nike when they go from $220 and they jump to $300, everybody who has invested into Nike come out with some money. However, for some reason, right, if Nike stock goes down, you lose money, right? And it's the same thing with Target. Target was making big money, right? All the minorities going to Target, everybody buying all of this. Then Target said we're rolling back DEI. So now their stock went down. And because their stock went down, now their stakeholders are suing them because they said you did not tell us about the consequences of pulling back diversity, equity, and inclusion. Therefore, our stocks went down. We lost money, and you misled us, right? And again, this is how English and math work together. Because if I'm gonna make my money, I gotta understand the terms. I can't sue you, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Because then I gotta pay for a lawyer, and I might not have no money. All right, so we all got this part down right now, right? Good, so we can move on. All right, and again, losses, but when the stock price fell, he lost money. I'm not pausing that because I just told y'all that. I'm not gonna pause right there, I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna move up here to Palm Beach. All right, so again, when the stock goes up, you make money. When it goes down, you lose money, right? Everybody knows about the Great Depression of the 1930s, right? And we all know that in 1929, that is when the stock market crashed. It didn't crash in 1930. It crashed a year before. It just hit America a year later, right? We also all are familiar or might be aware of the stock market going down in the early 2000s. More like mid-2000s, right? It be like that, right? Palm Beach, right? This is not where our crime took place at. However, this is where he selected, this was his playground, his hunting ground, right? This is where he went to find richer investors. Because the ones he had weren't rich enough. He needs some more, right? Because once you steal, you can't stop stealing. You got to get more. You got to go bigger. You got to get better, right? That's usually how that works, right? Go ahead. All right, so hopefully we got this part down. So then we can go ahead and move on. Don't care about that. That's important background information. He was charismatic. He was full of charm. That's how he persuaded people, right? He handed over large sums of money on a promise of 10% every year. So if you want to put that 10% every year as a profit in your notes, that is important to make. Important, right? Because as you begin to prepare your case, you're going to start thinking like a detective. How did this man scam $50 billion out of people and make this money disappear? They didn't all get their money back, right? Yes, ma'am.
How long was he doing this for?
He did this for a very long time. He started in the 60s. He didn't get convicted until 2008.
Oh, that's too long.
So how else do you get to 50 billion? You definitely don't get to 50 billion in 10 years. You get to 50 billion in 10 years and you scamming, I guarantee you really about to go get locked up really quickly. Because they about to track you really quickly. And y'all generation can't stay off of y'all phones to save y'all life, so y'all the easiest people to track. The easiest ones. You can find a scammer by finding their IP address. And I get a search warrant for that. Right? Like the dude that tried to scam me for $200. He thought he was slick. Like, sir, I'm gonna need you to be a better thief. Cause how you gonna try to take the $200 and ain't even get it? I mean, I know he wasn't gonna get it because I ain't have $200 in the bank account in the first place. But like, it's not trackable. Like, the bank ain't gonna send me a text message saying, "Hey, your card was used on Walmart.com for $220. It was declined. Was this you?" Like, was you this slow? Like, you mean to tell me your parents really is out here letting you be in this world and you didn't think that if you tried to steal money off of my debit card that I was not gonna be notified and go back in time and figure out exactly where I've been and when it happened? Like, sir, it's given, stay in school. He had to be slow. And I knew he was slow. If I went to Wendy's at 5:17 and I get a text message at 5:27 and I've been at work all day, I don't order nothing from Walmart. I don't even shop at Walmart. I'm boycotting Walmart, so I know I'm not there.
Why you boycotting Walmart?
They rolled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion plan. So why give somebody money that's not gonna invest in me or care about me and my people? So I'm gonna make them rich and they not gonna put me on their board? What sense that make? Exactly. Exactly. Because why would you give money to a company who legitimately and wholeheartedly probably won't hire you? They will let you be a cashier. They're gonna let you be this. They'll let you be a little general manager or a shift manager. But to sit on a board and make that money, are they gonna invest in you? So why you gonna keep investing in them? What Walmart got? Oh, low prices. No. Walmart has another lawsuit out simply for the fact that they say they got low prices, but somebody caught them. They didn't have low prices. The low price was the real price in the first place. They just put a flashy red sign on it and said roll back prices, and they were misleading their customers. And most people who go shopping never check the actual original price in the first place to actually see the percentage of what their savings is. So you can get over on people because most people have a grade education level of 6th grade. That's across America. So most people think on the 6th grade level. So you can get through. You can scam them quickly, right? So why would I do all that anyway? Somebody's out. All right, hedge fund, vocabulary word. Would anybody like to tell us off the top of the head what a hedge fund is? Or not? All right, so you know you need hedge fund. This part you do need to know. 10% consistency. Now, as you will get to going through this, you will understand why 10% consistency is important. He gave his clients 10% back on their investment every year without missing a payment. How does he do that? If I rob Peter to pay Paul, how am I still giving Peter back his money with an extra 10% on it? Right? So if you are an investor, right, or you're a client, right, and if you don't know what a client is, you need to put that down in your vocabulary. Because guess what? They use that word a lot. He has clients. Right? We need to know, how do clients and customers differ? How do they differ? Because if you notice, they use the word client, which is very specific. They didn't say customer, right? Because customers and clients are not the same. They're used interchangeably, but they're not the same. Right? If I'm doing hair, I have clients, not customers. People who make appointments, people I choose, or people I allow to do business with me, right? Because not everybody, I'm not about to do everybody here, right? So he gave them 10% back. So if I'm Bernie Madoff and you all are my clients, everybody in this room is giving me $1,000. You all are investing $1,000 into me, right? Now I'm giving you 10% back on your money. How much money am I giving you?
What's that again?
If everybody in this room is giving me $1,000, right? I'm Bernie Madoff. You're the client. Everybody's giving me $1,000, and I'm starting off with a low number. Madoff gave clients 10% back on their investment every year. So how much money was he giving back every year to these clients? Again, you're the client. You gave me $1,000. I'm giving you 10% back on that $1,000 every year. What are you getting back? Huh? Now, if you say $100, think about it. You gave me $1,000 to invest, right? That means you took $1,000 of your money and gave it to me, right? And you're supposed to get a profit off this money. And if I'm only gonna give you back $100,
500.
it's a question for y'all to think about. I don't teach math. But what I do know is he specifically says 10% consistently. That means he's going to guarantee 10% off of whatever you give. And ain't nobody giving $1,000. They was giving $990,000, $900,000. And actually it should be going up, not back. Because a profit is an increase, not a decrease. You don't lose profit. You can lose a profit, but in this case, I'm giving you 10% back on your investment, right? So you might want to underline that phrase if you wrote it down. What does 10% back on your investment mean? Right? That's a good question for y'all to ask your math teacher. Hey, it'll help you not be in that workbook. Alright, collar method. How does he do this? The collar method. This is more geared towards social studies than anything. But that's what I like teaching. I ain't never got to teach basic stuff. Alright. Madoff said he achieved this consistency. And remember, the consistency that he's talking about is the 10% payback every year. So he was able to give his investors a 10% profit every year. That means they made 10% more money, right? I'm slow, but I ain't that slow. I can't tell you what 10% of $900,000 is off the top of my head when you're talking about a profit. But I do know it equals $990,000, which means he's got $10,000 more. I don't teach math. I know enough to calculate my paycheck, and if I don't know it, then I go and figure it out. Right? So he uses the collared method to limit gains and losses, right? Now, who pays attention to the stock market? Can you predict? Can you limit gains and losses in the stock market? Now, I don't need a kind of. This man said, or better yet, I'm going to pretend I'm him. I am going to give you 10% back every year, guaranteed. Can I guarantee that I'm going to give you back 10% based on the market every year? Because does the market always stay the same? No. So how am I guaranteeing this?
That's weird.
It is weird, but guess what? People fail for it.
And they don't.
Right?
What did you say? Right.
All right.
Bro, come on now. You're right, I would have. Don't do that.
All right. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Oh. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and finish this up. So then that way we can get into talking about the Ponzi scheme, right? Because you need to know about who Charles Ponzi is. The gain and loss due to fluctuations. Move this back a little tiny bit. Rights to buy and sell. All right, paraphrase if you need to. Rights to buy and sell. By selling and purchasing the rights to buy and sell stocks at fixed prices, right? and it has more to put in there, right? If anybody can recall, right? Martha Stewart also is a celebrity who got in trouble for the stock market.
Oh yeah, I was just reading that.
Yeah, because she pulled, I think she got an insider's tip and then she pulled out of her investment, which is illegal. Oh yes, Martha served her time. She was in prison. She's a felon. She was, yeah, she went to prison. Because what she did was illegal, yes sir. When somebody come back, yeah, because the pastor's already out.
He said what, Dad?
Right, and again, this is mostly you taking notes to prepare for your case, right?
What dad? Yeah. You said what dad? Yeah. And you keep playing my dad.
Come on. I would hope so.
You have a dad?
Because imagine coming to class and your assessment, instead of it being an essay, is legitimately your participation in the court case and your written response on what your specific job was and how you handled your job or your role. Y'all are doing that. That's literally what y'all doing. Except y'all got like 4 days.
You didn't have that.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm on something new. Yep, and you got exactly that time double. Right, so what is taking me 4 days, that means you're going to have to go home and do some work. All right, let's move on. Pausing right here. The gain, adding on to your sentence, the gain and loss due to fluctuations in the actual or the price of a stock can be constrained, right? Ooh, excuse me. Wow. I ain't even eat my breakfast yet.
You're so weird, bro.
No, I don't.
You're so weird.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all done?
No.
Okay, hurry up.
Niggas in high school was using all the.
We ain't even get to the reading yet.
Oh yeah, he did. That was
Don't go to Harbor Woods. I don't want to see none of y'all there.
Wait,
Nothing. I'm planning to teach at Harbor Woods. Oh no, that's for real. Somebody's out. But you know what? Y'all go there. I plan on going to middle school. Alright, let's finish up. I think we got all of our notes now. Alright. Alright, so now. Where? Alright, question. What is the Ponzi scheme?
The Ponzi scheme?
Ponzi, go ahead. If y'all can't hear it, because y'all talking, so go ahead and tell us.
So what I think a Ponzi scheme is like when you, like, it's kind of hard to describe, like you get a whole bunch of money and you just like have it, but you place it into different spots and in the end it just disappears, so nobody really knows where the money is in the end. Right, that's my idea.
But so right here, the money.
Right.
I'm about to go find that.
Alright, so
Okay.
that was a nice synopsis of it. Alright, so
Where was that? Miami?
we are going to watch a very brief video about the man himself, Charles Ponzi, right? So Charles Ponzi is where we get the word Ponzi scheme from, because he was the first, right? I ain't gonna say he was the first to do it. He's the first to be caught in the 19th century. No, 20th century, I'm sorry. Right? So, we're definitely going to learn a little bit about his financial hijinks, right? So let's go ahead and make sure we write some notes down about this man.
Savings you just can't beat. Oh, this orange is gross.
And I love y'all, and y'all are great at y'all job. Alright, let's quiet down, because if you can, if I can't hear the video, we can get started on our reading. It's 9:32, I can wait time. Nope. Damar, all of those that's talking, get out of my face. You are literally a disruption to the classroom. You are not bringing anything positive to our learning environment. You are prohibiting other people from learning. Therefore, at this point, you are not even going to have a space in our courtroom because you are definitely going to be unprepared. Therefore, the judge, and at this case, I'm the judge, jury, and the executioner. You are no longer welcome. The next time I have to waste my time because people are consistently talking and being rude and disruptive, you will get a write-up, and I will push for a 3-day suspension because you don't need to come back to my class. I don't need to grade your work for 3 days. You will come back next week, and the test will be due, and you won't be doing nothing, and it'll be an F, and it's looking like credit recovery. And yes, I am that petty. You only got 3, 6, maybe 9. No, y'all don't got 9 grades. You got like 6 grades left. And then you got PSATs and report cards. So let's not think that Ms. Boney won't be petty enough to make sure that you go to credit recovery. Because I don't care what high school you go to next year. You can't go to the 10th grade ELA.
She never cared.
I did, but I cared. And then they sat there and trampled on my feelings. So I said, you're not going to graduate on time without credit recovery.
Right. That's a real thing.
Yes, you have to have credits to graduate high school.
Oh, my sister told me that like they keep passing once you hit like the 12th grade.
Yes, that's what schools do. They will pass you on, and then you get to 12th grade. Now you got to go back and take freshman English because you didn't take it.
Ain't that not like the middle school? Because some people didn't need to pass.
Nope, not even that. No, middle school just passed you. But in high school, if you do not get those credits, the schools will let you go to the 10th grade. They'll let you go to 11th grade. 12th grade year, you think you're going to graduate on time. Guess what? You got to go back to class. And depending on the school you at, it depends if that counselor catches you in enough time. Because if you don't get those credits completed by the time they got to submit paperwork, you will be sitting there either in credit recovery in the summer school or summer school. That's if they offer it. Not all high schools offer summer school. It's credit recovery. So at that point, it depends on the school when they're going to offer credit recovery to you. Yeah, and that's how a lot of kids don't never graduate on time because they get to the 12th grade and they got to complete all those credits. And if you have too many credits to complete, they cannot give you all of those credits at the same time. All right, but Charles Ponzi. All right.
Page from our Sunday morning almanac, March 3rd, 1882.
And this is
137 years ago today.
Ooh, at least we was free slaves. We was free.
Financial hijinks. Born
We
in
was.
Parma, Italy. Charles Ponzi emigrated to the United States in 1903.
Well, you got a lot of work to do then.
Arriving in Boston at age 21 with just $2.50 in his
Kyrie
pocket.
and Joseph, what are y'all talking about that's
Gambled
stopping us
away
from
his
paying
money on
attention
the
to this?
voyage over.
Because when I ask you on your
It
exit
wasn't
ticket
until
tomorrow
after
who
the
Charles
First World
Ponzi is
War
and how he got to the
Ponzi
Ponzi
hatched
scheme,
his
it would be
Get
perfect. You
Rich
got the
Quick
question right.
scheme. The gimmick, something called international reply coupons, a way to prepay foreign postage for mail.
Oh.
Because of a
She good.
currency
Y'all can move
exchange
back there.
quirk, Ponzi's coupon, bought at a low price overseas, could be cashed in for a higher amount here in the United States. He told investors he could double their money in 3 months. And it worked. At least
What is wrong? You walk out. I can't give you permission if you feel that
$30 a
thing.
week.
Go.
But when a newspaper revealed there weren't enough coupons in the entire world to support Ponzi's scheme, his fraud was exposed.
All right, there you go. Now you see why.
Coupons at all.
How do we make the money disappear?
Early investors, With the money he got from selling tickets to later
Not
ones.
enough for something.
Many of his customers went into
All he had was
bankruptcy,
words.
and Ponzi went to jail.
Like you said, they robbed Peter to pay Paul. You just gotta know who Peter and Paul is to understand the message.
And though he's long dead, the Ponzi scheme lives on. The most recent high-profile example, the Bernie Madoff scandal of 2008, which cost his investors about $19 billion, far more than the estimated 32 million Ponzi lost. But Charles Ponzi is the name the world will long remember. A catch-all for the sort of financial musical chairs that works just fine. Until the music stops.
Alright, so.
Tax Act doesn't care which tax filing software you've used in the.
Oh, no, that can be. Alright, so your homework tonight is for you to go ahead and read these two articles. You need to annotate. Alright? Anything, now, I am going to be very vague. What you are annotating for, it's not time to go, but what you're annotating for, anything that is going to help prepare us or you for your court case. Remember, you don't know your job title. You don't know if you're going to be the judge. You don't know if you're going to be on the jury. You don't know if you're going to be an executioner. You don't know if you're a bailiff or a court reporter, right? You probably won't know that until Friday or Monday. So, we definitely need to get on that. All right, we're going back to our notes.
Miss Bonnie,
I low-key need to read this.
how do we not have the best ranking? We got the most out of everyone else.
Y'all have the highest in that test.
Oh.
All right, let's go ahead and pull out our first reading. Walter Mosley's America's Obsession with Crime. Do we have any volunteers to read out loud? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got about 13 paragraphs. Yes, ma'am. Here you go. Yes, ma'am. All right, so our volunteers. All right. Who else had their hand up?
Me.
Leah, DeAndre.
Three. Yeah. Which one? First one.
All right, any others before I move? Oh, you gonna read? All right, is this it? All right, so the way this is going to work, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people volunteering to read aloud. For those who are not reading aloud, you need to be following along. And if you're one of those people who have a far below grade level reading, which means you're probably at an elementary reading level, or whatever, if you don't know how to read, take your index finger and point at every single word, right? That ain't no shame in it. But what's shameful is getting somebody to read it out loud and then not knowing it. That's what's shameful. Be like, so somebody read it for you, and you so you can't read and you can't listen. Oh well, too bad, so sad. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Miss Jazz, you can take the first 2 paragraphs. Aaliyah, you'll start off at guilt and our relationship. Tiandre, you'll do the last 2 paragraphs on the first page. Xavier, you'll flip us over on page 3. Which, because that's how it was printed. Alright, so the story will also be shared up there. And I'll be scrolling down. Alright, Jazz, let's go ahead and get started. Let's quiet down. I don't know why I keep asking this. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. They can't shut up. You on your own now. What? I literally sat here and have asked this class to stop talking 3 different times. so that other people can help those who are failing to get somewhere. But people can't shut up. I don't get paid to compromise or micromanage. So I asked them nicely to remove themselves from the classroom. They chose not to. Now, because they still talking, independent reading until the time is done. I'm not helping you. We're done. You can finish reading. That means I shouldn't hear no talking because you can't read and talk at the same time and comprehend. Thank you. No, don't finish. They can read on their own. Because if they couldn't, they would have shut up, but they didn't. So here we are. And I hope they annotate well. Because now y'all got an exit ticket. Well, maybe they should learn to shut up and pay attention in class, right? And I'm not gonna give an exit ticket. It's a 9:42. This will be y'all do now. Yep, next time they don't talk, next time they'll learn to either shut up or get out. Oh, don't worry. For you all, it will be your do now. I don't got time to keep wasting. When I say 10th grade is around the corner, I don't got time to keep wasting.